pie. The pie eaters, myself included, from the town of Wigan. However, the title derived from the 1926 coal mining strikes, when millions of people took to the streets in support of the low pay that the coal miners were receiving. Due to desperation and poverty, where literally families were starving to death, the coal miners of Wigan were forced to return back to work. You don't want to miss
this.
On the 3rd of May 1926, the Trades Union Congress, TUC, called for general strikes across Britain to start 1 minute before midnight. More than 1 million coal miners had been locked out of their mines after a long-running dispute with the government and with the mines' private owners, who wanted them to work longer shifts for reduced pay. On the first full day of action, there was an estimated to be between 1.5 and 1.75 million people out on strike. The transport network was crippled without its bus and train drivers, and the roads became choked with cars. The printing presses ground to a halt and food deliveries were held up. The armed forces were quickly moved in to escort and protect food lorries. Fights broke out between police and workers. Mines were stormed and many stood trial on charges of mobbing, rioting and looting. 9 days after the strike had begun, the TUC, which had apparently been holding secret talks with the mine owners, called off the strike without a single concession made to the miners' case. The strikers were taken by surprise but soon drifted back to work. But the resilient miners, deserted by the TUC and other supporters, struggled on alone for over another 7 months. By the end of November 1926, hardship forced most miners to return to work, with reports that many miners and their families were literally starving. There was bitter resentment and a sense of humiliation as they were again forced to accept lower wages and longer working hours.
It has been said that the Wigan coal miners were the first to return back to the coal mines, and therefore made to eat humble pie. However, some dispute this, stating it was the Nottingham coal miners who had broken away and formed their own union. Regardless, the determining factor for the coal miners to return back to the coal mines was to be able to put food on their tables for the ones that they loved, who had suffered so badly through the general strikes of 1926. In George Orwell's 1936 book, The Road to Wigan Pier, when discussing the Wigan coal miners, he stated, "The steel door shuts upon you, and somebody working the winding gear above drops you into the void. You have the usual momentary qualm in your belly, and a bursting sensation in the ears, but not much sensation of movement till you get near the bottom, when the cage slows down so abruptly that you could swear it is going upwards again. In the middle of the run, the cage probably touches 60 miles an hour. In some of the deeper mines, it touches even more. When you crawl out of the bottom, you are perhaps 400 yards underground. That is to say, you have a tolerable sized mountain on top of you. Hundreds of yards of solid rock. Bones of extinct beasts, subsoil, flints, roots of growing things, green grass, and cows grazing on it. All this suspended over your head and held back only by the wooden props as thick as the calf of your leg. You can never forget the spectacle once you have seen it. The line of bold, kneeling figures, sooty black all over, driving their huge shovels under the coal with stupendous force and speed.